Today on Investigate TV Plus, a brain disorder with no cure is on the rise.
When you first heard the diagnosis of Parkinson's, did you think this is a death sentence?
Yeah, I did.
But hope is on the horizon. Why doctors say movement could benefit patients in addition to traditional medicine.
Plus, an outdated law could leave vulnerable women at risk for violence.
This is something you expect in the 1700s. And when I first found out that these states were involved in it, I just couldn't believe it.
An in-depth look at the effort to eradicate it.
Then putting a positive spin on a life-altering diagnosis.
I sure am thankful for you.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
Everyday life can be a challenge when you're diagnosed with the fastest growing neurological disorder in the world. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Parkinson's disease affects nearly 1 million people in the U.S., and 90,000 more are diagnosed every year.
While there's no cure for the movement disorder, doctors found new treatment plans that can help delay and maybe even reverse this disease.
But that treatment isn't medication, it's exercise.
Reporter Kristen Crowley shows us how movement as medicine is becoming crucial for Parkinson's patients.
You may not notice
I keep them out so I can get to them.
that John Reinhardt's hands are a bit shaky.
I started out with a tremor in the right thumb.
And you probably wouldn't know that he's had brain surgery.
It's called deep brain stimulation.
But with the press of a button,
All right, it's off.
you can't miss the unmistakable signs
This is what happens.
of Parkinson's. Parkinson's is a neurodegenerative condition with no cure. Over time, brain cells that produce dopamine die, leaving people with stiffness, slowness, imbalance, and tremors.
When you first heard the diagnosis of Parkinson's, did you think this is a death sentence?
Yeah, I did. We were scared to death. We thought things were over.
That was 7 years ago. Things are far from over for John. He does everything you might expect to relieve his symptoms: medications,
Crimson and blue is amantadine.
and surgical interventions.
I had the surgery on the left side to affect the right side.
But he also does something you might not expect.
3 times a week.
Something he says has a bigger impact than traditional medicine.
I sometimes imagine a big PED on that bag.
John is literally fighting back against his disease. This is Rocksteady, a national exercise program with roughly 750 U.S. affiliates, designed specifically for Parkinson's patients.
Why boxing?
Because if you think about boxing, it's almost kind of like dancing.
Left foot's in front.
There's a lot of coordination, a lot of stepping, there's footwork, there's handwork, there's full body work, and then also getting the sequences. Left, right, left.
Don Aronoff runs the Rocksteady and Parkinson's program at this Jewish community center outside Kansas City, a program that began in 2019.
In 5 years, we've had a lot of growth. When we started offering this, we had about 8 boxers, and currently we are at about 75.
Growth that's happening as more doctors realize just how impactful exercise for Parkinson's can be.
The benefits of this weren't fully known.
Yes, yeah, they weren't fully known.
Dr. Kelvin Au is a neurologist and movement specialist with the University of Kansas Health. He says even though doctors have encouraged exercise for decades, it wasn't until the last 10 or 15 years, he says, that researchers started seeing it making a change in Parkinson's patients.
We have more information and data specifically in Parkinson's, and we know it makes a big difference. Specifically, high-intensity interval training has been shown to, in a small case series, maybe even slow down the rate of progression of Parkinson's.
Does the medical field know why exercise is so effective with Parkinson's patients?
It kind of releases different neurotransmitters, dopamine, endorphins, and kind of helping with mood, and then also helping just with their overall flexibility with the muscle tendons.
Medication helps with the symptoms, but the actual working out helps delay it. And that's really the only thing that's been proven to do so.
Not only can exercise slow Parkinson's, a new study published in early 2024 says there's evidence it could possibly reverse the neurodegeneration. The small study of just 10 patients says neurons in the brain grew healthier and produced stronger dopamine signals.
Are you seeing a difference in the people when they participate in class?
Yes. Yes, we had one gentleman and he came in here, lots of falls, and he's definitely got more steady. And sometimes people say, but I'm not getting better. And my question is, are you getting worse?
The falls are a big risk factor for Parkinson's patients.
Typically what happens is they'll fall, they'll break a hip, they'll end up in the hospital, they get pneumonia, and they pass.
Have you fallen?
Oh yeah.
John says Rock Steady is helping him stay steadier on his feet.
It's a nice day, isn't it?
He drives close to an hour, round trip.
Depends how congested the interstate is.
3 days a week, just for these classes. And says they've become the most important part of his treatment plan.
Where do you think you would be today if you didn't do this exercise?
I have no question, but the Parkinson's would be far worse than it is. People will tell you Parkinson's won't kill you. It may not rob the bank, but it's driving a getaway car.
For now, John's in the driver's seat, taking control of his disease and his life.
I see an 82-year-old and 83-year-old doing a plank or something, and it's like, hey, I want to be there when I'm that old.
And you think you can get there with this exercise?
I hope so.
Come to the center, one hand in.
If I have a chance of getting there, the exercise will ensure that.
Have a great day.
You can see if there's a Rocksteady program by you. Just head to rocksteadyboxing.org and plug in your zip code.
And doctors say even if you can't find a program like that, any high-intensity aerobic exercise is beneficial. They recommend getting at least 30 minutes of exercise a day, 3 or 4 days a week.
We spoke to Duke University professor of neurology, Dr. Burton Scott, who says the bottom line is anything is better than nothing.
Walking is inexpensive and beneficial. And so at the very least, I would encourage people to be walking on a regular basis, once a day, several days a week for a distance, to the extent that they're able to do so.
In addition, Dr. Scott says something as simple as knitting can help with fine motor skills. He encourages his patients to practice mental fitness as well, such as reading a book, then talking to somebody about it. Still ahead, getting a gift card anytime soon? We uncover a scam that allows criminals to drain the cards of cash before you can spend the money. What you need to know to protect your next present.
But first,
That's an old-time, stupid piece of thinking.
a law in 5 states denies women a divorce during pregnancy. This lawmaker's mission to end the legislation in every state.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms. There's a law on the books in 5 states that many call absurd and outdated. It says a woman cannot get a divorce if she's pregnant.
Some argue it goes beyond ridiculous and it's actually dangerous. Experts say each year more than 320,000 pregnant women are abused in the United States, and homicide is one of their leading causes of death.
50 years after the law went on the books, reporter Sharon Chen speaks with a lawmaker fighting for change.
There are no pictures or video we can show you because this story is about someone in hiding.
I fear for my safety and my kids' safety if my real name was used.
So we'll call her Elle. And for years, Elle endured abuse from her husband.
I don't think I truly realized it until it was happening in front of and then towards our firstborn child.
Enough was enough, and Elle filed for divorce until she learned legally she couldn't escape.
And at that point I was told that in Missouri, you cannot get a divorce when you are pregnant. And it was just crushing because I did not know that that was the case.
Elle is far from alone.
Over and over again, clients come in with 8, 10 kids sometimes.
Sarah Brammer is with Synergy Services, a Kansas City-based domestic violence housing program.
How often do you see these types of situations?
Frequently. It's difficult for me to count, but it happens more often than you might guess.
Brammer says in many of the cases, the women are trapped.
Very often, offenders will keep their partners pregnant and use pregnancy or reproductive coercion as a way of controlling their partner. It's not lost to offenders that a pregnant woman can't get divorced.
It was a law established back in 1973 requiring divorcing couples to state whether the wife was pregnant. The idea behind it, to hold men financially responsible for the children they fathered. And similar legislation exists in 4 other states: Texas, Arkansas, Arizona, and California.
That's an old-time, stupid piece of thinking.
Missouri Congressman Emanuel Cleaver doesn't mince words.
This is something you expect in the 1700s. And when I first found out that these states were involved in it, I just couldn't believe it.
The congressman says not only is this law antiquated, it's dangerous.
This kind of law is a request for abuse because if they can't get out of the relationship, they're going to be with a person who abused them, and a judge is maybe unintentionally setting up this woman for abuse.
Enter the Pregnancy Empowerment Act, a law Cleaver proposed to fellow lawmakers in July of this year that says a woman no longer has to state if she's pregnant when filing for divorce, ensuring expectant moms the freedom to make their own choice about divorce.
I think this legislation can overshadow any state legislation that could come on the books.
Legislation that could have delivered Elle to safety. Instead, her life only got worse.
The abuse did intensify once we came back because somehow he found out that I had talked to an attorney.
Living on hope and prayers.
I was sleeping on the floor of our child's bedroom because I thought that was the safest place.
Until the day she would truly be safe and free.
That day of freedom for Elle finally came.
After the birth of her second child, she was able to save enough money to file for divorce again. As for the other 4 states, we found each law on the books is for a reason similar to Missouri's, in order to organize child support payments.
Meanwhile, if you or someone you love is experiencing signs of domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Either call 1-800-799-SAFE or text START to 88788. The hotline is available 24/7.
Coming up, breast cancer survivors share their experiences battling a difficult disease.
When they tell that story, it's a story that sometimes the husband hasn't heard.
How he's helping women and their families through the life-changing diagnosis.
But first, a scam involving gift cards cost Americans millions of dollars each year.
So obviously it had been scratched off and compromised already, but she didn't know.
We'll tell you how to protect your money from this gift card grift. You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime, streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download. Whether it's for a holiday or birthday, gift cards could be considered one of the most reliable last-minute gifts of all time.
But scammers found a way to loot gift cards of their funds before you can even use it. It's called a gift card draining scam, and it involves fraudsters stealing gift card numbers and PINs. Data from the Federal Trade Commission shows in the first half of 2024, Americans lost almost $3 million to this specific type of fraud alone.
A North Carolina man says this happened to him, and now he wants to let others know about the scam.
Yeah, reporter Carolyn Hicks explains how it works.
Mike Tweed thought he found the perfect Christmas present for his niece at this CVS in Gastonia. He put $250 on 2 Visa Vanilla gift cards.
She brought it to my attention that she had just tried to use these gift cards and they were declined.
When she told you that, what were you thinking?
Obviously fraud, because it was brought to my attention when I was buying these that there was a lot of fraud with these gift cards. She inspected them thoroughly and said, I think these have not been tampered with.
That was not the case.
They're taking these gift card numbers. Once they have access to them, they will check the balance of the gift cards and wait for money to be loaded. And as soon as it's loaded, they'll use it themselves.
Gift card expert and consumer advocate Shelley Hunter says scammers are getting more sophisticated.
They'll do a whole bunch of things, including put on stickers over the top of pins, or, they might heat a gift card to release the glue from it so that they can get access to the gift card inside and then put it back together.
Tweed says his niece confirmed the security codes were visible when she went to use the cards.
So obviously it had been scratched off and compromised already, but she didn't know.
Tweed immediately contacted CVS to get his money back.
They said, you need to take this up with Visa. So called Visa, and Visa claimed no responsibility in this process. They said, you need to take it up with the banks that issue these cards.
Once I contacted CVS, they investigated the claim and told me they would be issuing him a refund. A spokesperson also said they take several steps to protect these products in store, including signage on the gift card racks warning customers about scams. Tweed believes they're not doing enough.
I think they need to be behind the counter. They need to be under lock or a glass or something that protects these codes.
Well, I'm so happy that Mike got his money back, but so many people have become victims of this.
It's simple. Lock them up, as they said. Razors, deodorant, all kinds of stuff you see in the drugstore locked up. Why not the pharmacy? Why not just lock the cards up too? And then no one will have access. Definitely would. We found some solutions that you can use the next time you buy a gift card, though. Some credit unions recommend you inspect your card before you buy and purchase it directly from the store rather than a large retailer. You can also opt for an electronic gift card. Also, always keep a copy of your store receipt and a photo of the gift card. It may come in handy if you need to file a report.
Still ahead, he's hard to miss.
All the way to the booth.
Yeah.
Can't miss you.
No, sir.
Can't see you in the dark.
That's right, buddy.
How his effort to raise awareness goes beyond going full-blown pink.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.
The National Breast Cancer Foundation estimates in 2024, more than 310,000 women will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer. But there is hope when caught in its earliest stages. The 5-year survival rate is 99%.
A Louisiana man is going the extra mile to raise awareness. Reporter Aaron Dietrich takes us on his cross-country adventure with Mr. Full-Blown Pink.
I call myself Mr. Full-Blown Pink. I said it's all on, all the time.
The Mac Daddy of tool trucks is on the move.
Breast cancer awareness on steroids.
At the wheel is one of the most colorful salesmen in the South.
And then here comes a freaking guy that looks like he just put a new fresh pair of batteries in his outfit.
Robert Tolbert's size 12 pink boots.
I get a look.
Make more than just a fashion statement.
Oh, yeah, all the way to the booth.
Yeah.
Can't miss you.
No, sir.
Can't see you in the dark.
That's right, buddy.
Robert says, why promote breast cancer awareness for just 1 month when you can do it for the entire year?
Howdy. And I'm fantastic. It's not about promoting me. It's not about the tools. It's all about awareness. Here's my pink cow outfit. Because nobody's going to go up to a stranger with no pink on and start talking about breast cancer.
I guess you can sell anything.
Oh, yeah.
But I sure am thankful for you.
Yeah.
A tool truck may seem like a strange place for people to share their biggest fears. But in October of 2020, Robert encouraged cancer survivors to jump on board. 31 ladies then proceeded to pour out their hearts in personalized Facebook posts.
Immediately, just tears flow. I didn't know what to do. You would have waited your family would be burying you by Christmas.
Amazing how when they tell that story, it's a story that sometimes the husband hasn't heard. I'll turn it over to Amanda and let her share her story.
Amanda Williams is one of those survivors.
It was very emotional, and it was almost like the moment I started healing, because it is such it's a lot of trauma.
Come to the truck and get your
Robert has certainly found a unique way to put a positive spin on a life-altering event.
If I can get them for 2 minutes, I said, I'll get them smiling, I'll get them thinking, but it's all going to be about Pink. And you know, it's been a journey. I'm not even halfway through it yet, but I look forward to every day. I felt so comfortable being an absolute clown that it stuck.
For a man that spends the majority of his day on the road, Mr. Early Detection knows how to hammer home his message.
It's all about awareness. But this is awareness on steroids. I can promise you that, because I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep rolling this thing.
Bicycles! Nutty buddies!
Mr. Full-Blown Pink says his goal is to wear pink every day of 2024, and he's well on his way.
And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. By the way, nice pink you're wearing today too, right? I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm T. Chappelle. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus,
He should be serving his full time in prison.
the former pharmacist who admitted to diluting life-saving drugs for thousands of patients is granted early release from prison.
I'm one of thousands of people that feel this way. There are so many families that have been impacted, and I'm just like, how could you let this man go home? It's pretty awful.
We take an in-depth look at the case and conviction. Plus, we speak to the families who want him to face murder charges for the deaths of their loved ones.